Nelly and Robbie, Robbie was a world champion, and Nelson Cruz, he went to 2 World Series with Texas. So yeah, he is building up kind of a master team, at least under under the Seattle fan standards, and it is really exciting. And what is different, guys, is that this Mariners team is finding ways to win versus everything goes well and then the closer blows it. Now they have good chemistry, and if the offense has a tough game, they score just enough because the pitching did great. And like, for example, today is a prime example of our pitching didn't have a great game. You can't every single game, but our hitting bailed them out and scored 8 against an Angels team who is not known for their pitching, but still, so it is really exciting. And I do think, actually, in terms of our the upcoming series, we are seeing a playoff preview, hopefully, because there's a lot of season left. But no, I think it's going to be really exciting. And this team, I for sure believe, is for real.
They really do look for real. And speaking of that, playoff preview and everything, give me your top trade target, either position or player, going into the trade deadline. So, maybe not exactly a name, but maybe a position.
Well, let's see. As an exact name, I probably would have said Greg Holland, in terms of some good emergency relief, but he's been terrible as a Cardinal, and he's not active. But I think actually I was going to say setup guy before a week ago, but I think got that in Alex Colomé. I think that our main target position going forward should be starter, because as the two of you touched on beforehand, the lowest 3 Mariners starters are overachieving, or they haven't proven themselves yet. So I think that we essentially need one more proven big name. So I would say starter, because right now our proven big names are 1 and 2, Pax plus Felix. But after that, those guys are not veterans. And you look at the Stros, who we've been neck and neck with the last month. They neither team can get off each other's tail. And the Stros have 3 starters who are essentially aces on other teams. Cole, Verlander, and then Keuchel, who is having a rough patch, luckily for us. But yeah, so I would say that 3rd veteran starter, and then he kind of takes the edge off of Felix, Paxton, and off of the other guys. So, but for sure beforehand, I would have said Greg Holland, but I think we've solved the setup with Colomé, for now at least. But yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I would say starter.
There's a few guys you could target, and Dipoto seems to like to try to catch lightning. He likes to buy low and hope that something evolves. And there's been a lot of Hamels talk with the Yankees, but you could go after a guy like J. Happ. Tyson Ross has had a bounce back year, so I think those are some good examples of guys you could target to kind of put in the middle of your rotation, just to give you some stability anyway. But we'll get into the last segment here, which is simply the series preview with the pitching matchups. And I think we can all agree tomorrow would be a heavily Red Sox favored matchup, given the fact that David Price is pitching very well, really the best he's ever pitched in a Red Sox uniform so far against King Felix. So do you think there's any chance that just maybe, on any given Thursday, Felix Hernandez can pull it together?
I always hope so. And, once again, he showed his old self against the Rays a couple weekends ago. But I just really, I think there's a chance, but, he is facing a really tough lineup. And I think too, David Price, I think that our best chance is is if he gets knocked around. But if he's the usual, but if he's the usual David Price, I for sure would agree and give game 1 to you. But yeah, no, I mean, Felix, he is still Felix. So, and he, he is still a really good pitcher perennially. And yeah, as you said, on any given Thursday, it's the same as when a last place team beats the top seeded team in their home ballpark. So, if but I for sure think the key getting back to this is that Felix needs to strike out some of your hitters. Otherwise it may be a long game. But, right now you are looking at, in terms of the next game, another marquee pitching matchup, the Killer Peas, Porcello versus Paxton.
Yeah,
and, yeah, and Porcello is interesting because he is really good. He was a reliable 3 or 4 hole for the Tigers, and I think that the poor guy is just experiencing post Cy Young blues because he is really good, and he just seems like a really humble guy who just gives it his all. And I actually think that so he is still really dangerous. But yeah, I actually, in terms of overall series, I probably can smell either a split or a 3 out of 4. But I think these two teams, they are good enough that I don't see either one sweeping / being swept. But I mean, you never know. But yeah, it should be a fun series and close games, as like you said, because it's Price versus Felix. So yeah, I think it's going to be a close series. But I for sure think though it's interesting the two teams' histories because from 2003 to 2007, it was all Mariners in terms of the Safeco series. You guys clearly had it was just something about Safeco where you had a rough time, and then 2008 onwards, it's been you guys. And at Fenway, I mean the Sox, they are always tough at Fenway, but so I just think it's it's going to be interesting. But I maybe see one game being a blowout, and I think that's the series finale. And I say that because I think the Red Sox are probably going to humble up Mike Leake because he has done so well. And, no pitcher can be dominant every single start. But yeah, I see either a split or either you guys 3 or 4 or us. It's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun.
Well, you guys definitely have the edge, I would say, in game 2. I know Porcello for us has actually kind of got out of his slump that he was in for much of the month of May. And, he's 2-1 in his last 3 with a 2.84 ERA. But, I mean, you got a Cy Young candidate in Paxton this year, and I haven't really seen him pitch very much, so I'm kind of looking forward to it just from a pure baseball standpoint. But I think you guys have the edge there, and Stephen Wright is a knuckleballer. He goes game 3, and he's commanding that knuckleball and throwing it for strikes quite a bit, so so who knows? It's a weather sensitive pitch, so I don't know how Seattle is gonna treat it out there. That's the wettest city in the world or in the nation, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of rain.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you got it. Yeah. No, yeah. So well, and in terms of Paxton, I just think I mean he, this is real. What is exciting to see. Major knock on wood here is that this is his first truly healthy season, and he's also riding the momentum train. He is on fire. I mean, he in a period of 3 starts he struck out 16 A's, pitched a no against the Jays, and then had a complete game performance against, I believe it was the Twins. So he's just, I mean, he is good, but he's hot. So, yeah, the hope is that your guys' amazing offense will not kill his momentum, but it's always a possibility. And I think, he is really riding high right now. And
looking forward to seeing that.
insane. So, well, and if it can, not to jump the gun, as fun as it always is, but if it came to a wild card game, many months from now between our teams, right? And I want to know what before this season, I hands down would have said Felix, but in sports, performance over past, and like for sure, and that's not to say Paxton won't have a rough patch. Every single pitcher does, but I just really think, he is more of a strikeout pitcher right now than the King is, and really, he's kind of Prince Paxton in terms of King Felix. So, James, you can for sure see his like modesty too, because after he finished the no-hitter against the Jays, his reaction was like a 6-year-old kid on Christmas. Like he didn't know what to do with the amazing act that he just did. So so he's just, he is just a really nice guy, and he's tearing it up. And I think he has only had one bad start, really. So,
I'm hoping for another one. I think it's a split with the 4-game set. I think honestly the way that, like you said, I think we might humble up the league a little bit. I think if it was 2 out of 3, like it will be in a couple weeks, I think the Sox take it right now. But I think in the 4 games set, I think it's going to be a nice split. I'll give you the Paxton one for sure. And I think E-Rod, I think E-Rod's been pitching so well right now, and Wright as well. We got to get one of those as well. So I'm thinking a split. What do you think, Terry?
Yeah, the only concern I have is, is there going to be any jet lag, from going coast to coast? But aside from that, I don't know. It's no worse than a split for the Red Sox, and maybe 3 out of 4, I would say. And I'm usually, negative Nancy.
That's big.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I like E-Rod. We're, like I said, we're 12-1 when he starts. It's hard to pick against Stephen Wright, but the Sox haven't seen a lot of these guys actually, so that's another thing too. So maybe I am more of a split, because Leake's been a National League guy, so there's not a lot of familiarity there. No familiarity whatsoever with LeBlanc, and I don't know what our record is against Paxton, and I really think that King Felix is going to get torched tomorrow. So I don't know. I just don't like the way he's been trending, and it's almost too bad that you can't get one of the better pitchers in there against Price to make it more of a pitcher's duel. But who knows? With that said, we'll probably lose 3-1. Because shit happens. But yeah. It's going to be a competitive series. Let's just all agree on that anyway.
Right. Oh, yeah. Right.
And this could be, you're talking about a playoff preview. This could be the wild card preview. Because if the Yankees go get DeGrom, it's kind of, I kind of feel like they have the edge with the division. We're wild card number 1. I think we can all agree there's going to be no wild card coming out of the Central. So that would make the second place AL West team, which is going to be, hopefully, I'd like to see the Mariners do it. I love to see teams like that. Maybe, if it's a fairy tale, maybe these guys can be the 2014-15 Kansas City Royals. No one saw that coming. So I'm not going to write off anybody, but I'd love to see Seattle do well and possibly win the division. How would that work? Who would the number 1 seed be?
It would be.
It's going to come out
basically whoever wins the East.
AL East, yeah.
Yeah, and then basically, and then as you said, the AL Central is going to hands down be the 3 seed. The lowest division winner.
Right.
And then I have to say though, actually, I think this was and this